Welcome back once again. I tell you, we have an exciting person that's about to join the show to share some more information about the one and only NFL legend, Willie Davis. But before I bring him to the show, absolutely, as you know, I've been utilizing ChatGPT. So let's go here together and so that you can see this extraordinary information about the one and only Fred Shaw. Sharing my screen here, and this is what we found. Reverend Fred Shaw is a prominent advocate for human rights, focusing on mental health reform and social justice. He serves as the Director of Public Affairs and spokesperson for the Citizens Commission on Human Rights International, CCHR, a watchdog organization dedicated to exposing and addressing abuses within the mental health industry. In addition to his role at CCHR, Rev Shaw is the president of the NAACP Inglewood-South Bay Branch in California. With a long history of working with the NAACP, he is the past president of the Compton Branch of the NAACP, where he was the first president from Compton to be appointed to a California state chair overseeing the Children's Task Force. Rev Shaw has been instrumental in launching initiatives aimed at combating systemic racism and modern day eugenics within the mental health system. He founded the Task Force Against Racism and Modern Day Eugenics in collaboration with CCHR to address and eliminate discriminatory practices that disproportionately affect communities of color. His advocacy extends to raising awareness about the over-medication of children, particularly concerning the prescription of psychotropic drugs. He has spoken out against the alarming rates at which children are labeled with mental disorders and subjected to medication or electroshock therapy, emphasizing the need for reform in these practices. Rev Shaw's dedication to human rights and social justice has been recognized through various platforms, including interviews and discussions where he shares his insights and experiences. His work continues to inspire efforts toward equitable treatment and the protection of individual rights within the mental health system and beyond. For a more in depth understanding of Rev. Fred Shaw's work and his fight for human rights and mental health, you might find the following video informative. I will play it at the end of the show today. Okay, so without further ado, we want to find out some information. As we see, he's also a strong leader, and we've been talking about the NFL legend, champion, Willie Davis up until today because it is December 21st, Willie Davis Day. And without further ado, thank you for taking the time out to come to the show, Reverend Fred Shaw. How are you today?
I am doing fine. Go to work, go to work, go to work.
Go to work. Absolutely. Welcome. So it's definitely an honor to have you on the show. And as you see, scrolling at the bottom of the screen, determination, leadership, and strength. And of course, there are so many more adjectives that could be utilized for you and the legend
Well,
NFL Willie Davis.
well, today I want to talk just a little bit about the legend. As you know, he is the brother of a friend of ours, Crystal Davis.
Yes.
And, Willie Davis was one of those individuals who exceeded, with the help of God, the plan that was predestined for him. And he didn't grow up with a silver spoon like many of the African Americans of his day. He wasn't rich or anything. He was poor. He had to fight his way through everything. And he was able to achieve what most people only dream about having come into fruition. One of the things that we got to understand about him, he wasn't just an NFL football player. He wasn't just a businessman, but he was also a social activist. If you ever look at the picture with Jim Brown, Muhammad Ali, and Bill Russell. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar is in that picture. If anybody's looking at it right now, there's other guys, but right behind Jim Brown, standing there, is Willie Davis. The guy standing right there, right behind him, right there in the meeting,
Mm-hmm.
is Willie Davis. So when we see the picture, we always look at Bill Russell, Kareem, and Jim Brown because they were sitting with him. But there were some powerful brothers standing behind him.
Mm-hmm.
And Willie Davis was one of them. And in those days, you only took a move like that if you was willing to take the consequences. And for them to stand up for Muhammad Ali when he was a Muslim, he was a brother that didn't uh, mince his words. He was somebody that would stand up, be bold, and willing to take the consequences. And those men in the picture, especially Lou Alcindor at the time, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Muhammad Ali, and Bill Russell, also Willie Davis, and other greats that I've never even got to really figure out their names. But these men stood strong when it wasn't popular. You know, when the leagues could retaliate uh, on you for thinking on your own. And so
Mm-hmm.
I'm just so happy to be able to speak on them. In fact, let me even tell you this. When I was a little kid, my mother and father started the first Black Warner Pop Warner owned football teams.
Mm-hmm.
And I played defensive end. And as a little player, there was two guys I looked up to.
Mm-hmm.
And one was Deacon Jones and one was Willie Davis.
Wow.
Davis played on the Packers, Deacon Jones played on the Rams, but
Mm-hmm.
those were the two guys playing that position that I looked up to.
Mm-hmm.
Those were the two powerful Black men that I wanted to pattern myself. Unfortunately, I ended up a basketball player because I was really thin and I didn't gain the weight that I needed to play football. But
Oh,
it's outstanding of you to even have that picture available. That is a picture that began the changing of the guard when the athletes started getting their voice and getting ready to stand up for justice and stuff. And Willie Davis is in that picture.
absolutely. That's wonderful. And Crystal, she provided the picture for the podcast. Absolutely. And this one as well. To share in his five champion rings as well.
Oh yeah.
Yes, absolutely. So definitely that's an honor. So yeah, thank you for sharing. How instrumental. So yeah, we have to talk about more of that tomorrow as we conclude this past weeks. We've been maybe 3 weeks now
And,
doing a podcast in the morning about her brother. Yes, indeed. So thank you for sharing that.
well,
Absolutely.
and you started to talk a little bit, and I want to just throw this in. He had two Super Bowl champions. He
Hmm.
was five has five NFL championships. He
Yes.
has five first team All Pro. Second team he was in 1963. So, you know, here he is. He went to five Pro Bowl games,
Hmm.
uh, NFL all decade team in the 60s.
Wow.
See, those are the things that we want people to know about him. And
Hmm.
he also got the Distinguished American Award in 1982. A lot of people do not know
Mm.
that when he went to the Hall of Fame, he was also uh, was a good businessman. They had a distributorship, a brewery. He moved Schlitz malt liquor and stuff like that, and that was his business.
Mm.
One of
Wow.
the few that went from the playing field to the business office.
Hmm.
and he did it with pride. And here he was in 1982 getting the Distinguished American Award.
Wow.
So this is a different type of individual.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Well, thank you. Absolutely. Wow, we've been learning quite a deal about the NFL legend. Yes, indeed, Willie Davis. Well, thank you. Thank you for sharing that as well. And I know that you are an author, and that's also a testament of being a businessman and just loving the sport of football as well. So, yeah, can we talk about a little bit before we get into your book, your recent book, about what is it that you would like to share to other people, or shall we say, up and coming football players?
All I would say to any athlete, be it a football player, basketball, whatever,
Mm-hmm.
um, you must educate yourself at least to the point that you can count your own money. There are a lot of people out there who will be your accountant, but if they think you're not paying attention, if they think you don't know how to discover what they're doing, if they're taking money or whatever, then you can look up. And many a smart athlete had money stole from them, from their accountants and certain people. People will come to you with investments and stuff. You have to have somebody that is close to you that know what you don't know, but a lot of it you have to know yourself. You cannot just go out there, make a lot of money, and basically think, okay, because you will look up and it'll be gone. In fact, if you just saw Otani, the Dodger baseball player,
Mm-hmm.
and his manager was stealing his money and
Mm.
gambling with it.
Oh, wow.
And then there's been a lot of people in history. So all I'm saying to the athletes, put in your work on the court, on the field, do all you got to do, but you got to put some work in to make sure that you can protect your own money. And if you have a very intelligent mother and father who you trust, then you have to have somebody watching the people who are doing your affairs, and
Mm-hmm.
you can give money to your parents, and that can be a write-off because you can give them specific jobs, and
Mm-hmm.
then that way you make sure that people are not taking advantage of you, so that you work a whole lot. Look at Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson made over 300 and some $1 million, and
Mm-hmm.
he's just now getting back on his feet after a total collapse of his funds and things like that, and people beating him out of money and stuff.
Wow.
So, this can go on in any field, any business. You got to know enough about what's going on to protect yourself.
Absolutely, absolutely. And thank you for sharing that. And that's a great segue into your website. We'll have to share this beautiful website. Welcome to the Book of Millionaires, the official law of attraction, community for wealth. Yes, indeed. So, yes, you want to speak on your new book?
Well,
Congratulations.
well, the thing is that when we look today at power, this is something that I've been learning. I don't know. I don't want to really actually give any particular source. The
Mhm.
reason that I came across this, all of a sudden I realized that I'd been in Legal Shield twice. I've been
Mhm.
in Amway twice. I was in a thing called Dynasty. I was
Mhm.
in all of these different programs, and I was wondering why they didn't work.
Mm.
And the reason they didn't work is because we don't have the understanding of what it takes to attract money.
Mm.
We think that money is something that we earn. But actually, the truth is, if you watch how we do in life, we go to college, we get PhDs and masters and doing all of this so we can make more money. Well, the greatest thing that we can do for ourselves is to understand the power of the Spirit.
Mm.
And in the Spirit, you can assume the beingness of someone who is making money. You
Mm.
can assume the beingness of being money and start
Nice.
attracting it. And I'm not going to be using myself anything, but right now I'm not even working, and somehow I'm making more money.
Mm.
Now I'm being careful
Mm-hmm.
because even this is new to me.
Mm-hmm.
But when you run up on the right foundation and then you start accumulating wealth, one of the books that I've been reading is called Think and Grow Rich.
Mm-hmm.
It did not say work hard and go rich.
Mm.
It said think and go rich.
Mm-hmm.
See, one of my favorite stories, and I have it in the book, a man pulls up in one of those Bugatti cars. It's like $1 million car,
Mm-hmm.
and he pulls up at his skyrise build business, and he jumps out the car and he tosses the keys to the bellhop.
Mm-hmm.
And one of his employees says, "Man, I sure like that car."
Mm.
He said, "You really like it?" I said, "Yeah." Well, then what you need to do is work hard, put in all your time, learn the business upside down, do all of the things that it takes for you to be able to enhance your ability in this company. And if you do that, I will buy me another one next year.
Mm.
Now, that's a cold statement,
Mm-hmm.
but it also tells us, where do we want to be in life?
Mm-hmm.
Do we want to be the one that sees the guy work hard for him to get that car? Or do we want to be the one to go get that car?
Mm-hmm.
Now, one of the things to being successful is we have to overcome our own beliefs about ourselves.
Right.
Most of us don't believe we can do it.
Mm-hmm.
Most of us listen to people who tell you you can't do it. Let me tell you something. The only people who will hate on you is somebody that you're doing better than. Nobody hates on you when you're doing worse than them.
Mm-hmm.
They hate on you when you're doing better than them.
Mm.
You know, one of the things that O'Leary, I think he's on Shark Tank, but he said something that was really crazy. He said, a paycheck is the drug they give you to make you forget your dreams.
Mm.
See, if you look at people, they come out of Hollywood, they come to Hollywood, they want to be a star, they go to work in a restaurant, they get good tips. 20 years later, they still in that restaurant.
Mm. Mm. Mm.
Because see, they got that money, they got the tips, and being a waitress can be great tips. Because if I'm right, you get your basic, uh, let's say you get $15 an hour. You get that basic pay, and you either split or you get to keep your tips.
Mm.
Well, you know, you may be working four tables, 5 tables, and you get $10 tips on each table, and you'd have made $50 that hour on those tables. Plus, you made the $15 that hour. You making $65 an hour. That's probably more than school teachers and other people.
Mm-hmm.
So the thing is that, but you get that, and it becomes like a drug. Because what did you do? You went and got that doggone apartment, and that apartment costs. And you
Mm-hmm.
might have had to get a roommate, but y'all got it, split the bill. But then you needed that car because you didn't want to catch that bus. You saying to yourself, why am I making this money and I'm catching the bus? So then you go get the car. You didn't started forgetting the dream is to be an actress or an actor. You're doing these things. So part of being able to be rich is to concentrate and focus on the destination you trying to arrive at.
Mm-hmm.
See, most of us, when we were kids, and I'm talking more about males, we played sports, we did all of these things. We wanted to be an NFL player like Willie David. We wanted to be all of these things. But what did we sacrifice for it? We sacrificed homework. We sacrificed a lot of stuff that we should have did so we could get to where we're going and be able to take care of ourselves. We should have been studying so that we could, uh, if we didn't make the NFL, if we didn't make the NBA, well, we should have been studying so that we'd have had a backup plan. But we didn't have a backup plan.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? It is
Right.
the reason that education is so important. And I want to stay on the money, but to attract money, you have to become bigger spiritually.
Mm-hmm.
See, and and we look at it, and but we only see what's in front of. There are a lot of millionaires that are not as smart as you and I. They
Mm-hmm.
got breaks, or they went after something, or they accomplished it. You look at Elon Musk right now. Elon Musk has $200 billion more than Jeff Bezos, who is the second richest man in the world.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm not saying we will ever attain that money, but if he did it, there's nothing to say that you can't do it.
Mm-hmm.
It's all in the preparation.
Mm-hmm.
It's all in. The richest black men in the world are financiers. They're not movie stars or basketball players. Those are some rich people in the world. But the richest black man in the world is now worth about 11, or at least in America. I don't know about in the world. At least in America, is worth about $11 billion. He's
Mm.
richer than Oprah. He's richer than Michael Jordan. He's richer than LeBron James and Beyonce and Jay-Z together.
Mm.
You see, the second richest black man is in financing too. He's the one that paid, I think, all of the student debt for the people at
Oh yeah.
Morehouse.
Mm.
You see what I'm saying? So
Mm.
anyway, I just know that you know, if people really want to know what to do, buy the book, uh, Path to Power, see what it is, because how do you ever get money and we don't understand how it operates?
Wow.
So we need to do that. They need to look at my website and stuff. This thing is getting ready to develop. Even people like yourself, I hope, be involved in it in certain type
Mm-hmm.
of way. There's a lot of ways for a lot of people to make money. But the more important thing
Mm-hmm.
is in developing where you're going. You
Yes.
have to see what the needs of the people are. And black people right now need to know how to make money. But let me
Mm.
tell you an interesting thing, and then I don't know what your time thing is. I Googled how many black people in America are rich,
Mm.
are millionaires. That's what I said.
Mm-hmm.
And it came back 2 million.
Wow.
We're 40 million people. That means 5% of our population are millionaires. If you remove the kids and the ones that don't contribute to society and just went with those contributed, we're probably about 10 to 12% of us are millionaires. But they got us focused on racism
Mm,
instead of how do we get to the next step.
gotcha.
See, so we have to also, focus on our mind.
Absolutely. Yes. Facts. Well, definitely always a joy and an honor to have you on a podcast. You're so filled with so much information and poise. And if anybody ever seen you give a tour at CCHR or just seen you present or just be in your company at an event, absolutely, it was always a joy and you're always so informed and inspired. Absolutely.
And
So
if
yes,
I can leave the audience with one thing,
yes,
your potential is far greater than anyone has ever allowed you to believe.
mm,
A great philosopher said that. Your potential is far greater than anyone has ever allowed you to believe.
wow, yeah, that's deep. Absolutely, that's deep. Wow. Well, with that in mind, I do want to share as well, really quick. I want to present everyone with that you are now your books. Well, one of your books because you have more books, but your latest book here, "The Path to Power," is located in the foyer area of the Made in Compton store, right there. Absolutely.
Absolutely. It is
Yeah.
there. Uh, and I appreciate you. And if people will, they can come down and order the book through you. They
Yeah.
can contact me at fshawjr@yahoo.com, but also put either Nichelle Farrow or Go to Work so that she can get credit for the books that this audience purchased. Um, and then stay tuned. We got some stuff coming that you won't believe.
Absolutely. So let me make sure they have your email here. And as I share the video that I was sharing earlier today about more information about you, F. Shaw Jr. at yahoo.com. Yes, please note that I'm going to scroll that at the bottom here, as well as share that there are a plethora of people that may want to come onto the Go to Work platform, and just all you have to do is send a comment or definitely tune in again. And there, I'm going to share the show another platform so people will be able to contact in different places. But Go to Work Center at gmail.com as well to contact me.
Absolutely.
And yes, indeed. So thank you. So I'm gonna put you backstage, and you're free to, carry on in your evening. And thank you so very much. I'm gonna showcase your video, and then I'm gonna play a song that Crystal's oldest son created, and then I added some lyrics to it too. So it's pretty neat. I did a collaboration with one of Willie Davis's nephews. How neat is
Oh,
that?
great.
All
Okay.
right.
Put me
Okay.
in the back. I think I want to hear that.
Okay. All right. Here you go. Absolutely. So thank you again, everybody that's here. I'm going to present the screen so we can learn more about the one and only Rev Fred Shaw, who's a new author. He has other books. When you go to his website, you'll learn about more books that he's an author of. Absolutely. And I have another podcast that was some more information. Here we are. I'm going to make sure it's sharing to you. Absolutely. There we go. Share screen. And I have him queued right there. That's always neat.
For decades, Reverend Fred Shaw, president of NAACP Inglewood-South Bay, and international spokesperson for the Citizens Commission on Human Rights, has been a fierce human and civil rights advocate. A native of Compton, California, Fred Shaw was born to a family of freedom fighters who believed that all people should be treated with dignity and respect, and who dedicated themselves to fighting for civil and human rights. His mother, Marcine Shaw, was an Army veteran and city council member in Compton. Growing up, both his parents instilled in him a deep commitment to serve their community, and this philosophy was evident in the homes they opened for troubled youth in the 1970s. Inspired by national heroes such as Baptist minister Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., Fred Shaw became an ordained minister in 1975. As a minister, he participated in numerous civil rights marches, many of which were opposing the suppression of blacks at the hands of our law enforcement. Reverend Shaw wanted to effect change from within law enforcement, particularly the injustices he witnessed in his community. After graduating from the Sheriff's Academy in 1980, Reverend Shaw began a career that spanned 13 years in law enforcement. He came to realize he could best serve his community by creating positive reinforcement programs for Black youth, rather than simply focus on the penal side of law enforcement. In this spirit, he formed the Linwood Sheriff Youth Athletic League. Seeing the substantial rewards for directing youth to positive community-based programs, Reverend Shaw decided to broaden his efforts from outside of law enforcement. In 1994, he partnered with his sister, Jules Shaw, to help troubled youth by opening residential care facilities in Compton, California, called Boys to Men. These group homes were very different than the standard youth shelters, which were primarily doling out powerful psychiatric drugs to children and teens. Reverend Shaw refused to administer psychiatric drugs to youths in his care, as he knew these only served to further damage already troubled youth. By refusing to drug these youths and instead focusing on positive supportive programs, Boys to Men group homes gave hundreds of young men the opportunity to rise out of their often tragic circumstances and go on to become productive members of society. Due to his work with troubled minors, the Congressional Black Caucus Foundation honored Reverend Shaw as one of the recipients of the Men Who Care Award, along with actor Jamie Foxx. He was then elected president of the NAACP Compton Branch and partnered with Citizens Commission on Human Rights, a mental health industry watchdog organization, in order to stop the forced drugging of school children. He helped obtain 3 national resolutions, 2 from the NAACP and 1 from the National Caucus of Black Legislators. These resolutions condemn the abuse of mental health practices being inflicted on children, including forced psychiatric drugging and electroshocking, particularly those from lower-income families or in foster care. Today, he continues to work with the Citizens Commission on Human Rights International to fight against psychiatric abuse. He recently launched a Taskforce to combat the medical racism that permeates the mental health industry, which still exists to this day. Reverend Shaw states, "Our communities need proper and effective health care, not damaging drugs and electroshock that passes for mental health treatment today. This is especially true for the African American community, given psychiatry's long history of racist eugenics theories, which still permeate modern-day mental health care." Over the years, Reverend Shaw has reached millions of people with his message of hope and change. To find out more, visit CCHR Taskforce.org.
Absolutely, absolutely. I'll tell you, phenomenal, phenomenal, phenomenal. I'm not sure if you might have something to say. I'm going to bring the one and only Reverend Fred Shaw back to the show just really quick before I play the song as our outro. Do you want to share anything? You have the floor.
I just want to thank you for playing that. I actually forgot that was done on me, but
Amen.
we all have to work, and we
Yeah.
all can accomplish whatever we decide if we truly decide it. And I just want to help children, and I thank you for being a great support and always being there, watching my back, helping me out, and God bless you too.
Absolutely. Thank you so very much. Well, until next time, everybody, have a great, great time. And here we are. Go to work.
In the field playing deep like a Willie Davis. I'm a boss man like a Willie Davis. Call me champion like a Willie Davis. Really, I'm a stand-up guy like I'm Willie Davis. Yeah, we gon' win like I'm Willie Davis. I'm a champion like I'm Willie Davis. Always win like I'm Willie Davis. I'm a champion like I'm Willie Davis.
Willie Davis, a legend on the field, a force to be reckoned with. His rivals will yield. A Hall of Famer, his legacy is sealed. A champion with heart, his passion was real. Willie Davis, a true NFL great. His name will echo through history's gate. His story inspires, his spirit won't fade. He's a hero of many, his impact was made. Off the field, he was a businessman. His resilience and persistence, a winning plan. Man of character, his values ran deep, a role model.
In the field playing deep like a Willie Davis. I'm a boss man like a Willie Davis. Call me champion like a Willie Davis. Really, I'm a stand-up guy like I'm Willie Davis. Yeah, we gon' win like I'm Willie Davis. I'm a champion like I'm Willie Davis. Always win like I'm Willie Davis. I'm a champion like I'm Willie Davis.
Hard work pays off, Willie's life's a testament. He rose to the top with dedication. From humble beginnings, he forged a legacy, a true inspiration. Education was key, his mind he did hone. Before he was a star, he proved he could own his success on the field. A lesson to all that learn is the foundation that help us stand tall. He never forgot where he came from. His love for his city, his roots were not gone. He gave back, he inspired, he did not forget. A true role model with no regret. A champion spirit, his will to achieve. His love for the game we all could perceive. But more than a player, he cared for his neighbors, his city, his friends. His legacy lives on. His impact transcends beyond the gridiron. His life's a testament of kindness and strength.
In the field playing deep like a Willie Davis. I'm a boss man like a Willie Davis. Call me champion like a Willie Davis. Really, I'm a stand-up guy like I'm Willie Davis. Yeah, we gon' win like I'm Willie Davis. I'm a champion like I'm Willie Davis. Always win like I'm Willie Davis. I'm a champion like I'm Willie Davis.